Hi, and welcome to another video from aplaintruth.info. We're getting more into deceptive language, hitting esoteric meanings, and I give all the credit to this website, Chiron Last. I found it in one of the show notes, and excuse me, in one of my other videos that I just did on deceptive language. And I broke it down here for us to understand a little more about what he or she or whoever is putting this out is saying. It's another one of those websites that doesn't disclose who they are, why they are, but it's got great info. It goes into the depths of history of time, meaning astrotheology, words, and meanings of all the Babylons as we babble on in all our different languages. But when we spoke one language, it had a meaning to it, and he gets well into that. And it is all about ownership and slavery and owning the souls of people so that they can charge the batteries of the dark sun, of the Luciferian principles. And we participate when we do their bidding for them. That's part of the way they play their game. And they've been doing this for a very long time, as you'll get into. And I found it very interesting in here when they got into chemtrails and the reason for chemtrails dealing with the alkalinity and acidity of our bodies. And we're seeing what's going on today to our bodies, and we're not seeing what goes on when we get our smartphones or where anything comes from, or we just push a button and things show up. And so it's really gotten to be this juxtaposition of living where we're giving energy away, our minds are being mined, but we're waking up now. And hopefully this video helps you wake up. It helped me learn a lot and understand, and I'll be releasing more from this wonderful site, Chiron Last, and I encourage you to do so as well. This part in particular gets into chemtrails and pH and the meaning behind the words that are associated with why they're spraying and why this is 1,000-year event. Take it all in.
If there's God.
This word phone is also showing humanity the direction that the gods are taking our battery cycle operated world in, to an acidic pH level of 1. Phone equals pH 1, which is the biblical water of gall, and this is a big part of the chemtrail attack that is happening in the skies of this plan ET every single day. The more pH 1 calls that we send to the genetic X chromosome of Saturn by believing in, say, 10, where X is the Roman numeral for the number 10, the closer we get to arriving at the pH level of 1. This is all part of the final act in this god play of pretending that involves our pretending to ring the pH 1 phone of Jove, because by Jove, we've got it. When the world reaches this pH level, the phoenix will rise again, the return of the king and Lord of the Rings, who will be crowned by Crownus, Kronos, as shown by the anagram of rise, which turns into sire. The king that comes from below, as shown by the last letters of Ned, from crowned, which is the Norwegian word for below, down. This pH of 1 is the ultimate meaning behind the occult Latin term e pluribus unum, from many one. We work for the crow, spelled crow-nos, since work spelled backwards is crow, and the word nas is Latin for we, us. We work and are wedded to the time ring of Saturn, as also shown by the Hungarian term nős, meaning wedded.
Do ye take these slave wedding rings of Saturn to provide more slaves like yourselves to the honeymoon, who will keep the extension cord running forward in this existency? We do schoolwork, we do homework, we work out. They've got us working all the time. We are but a tool in the big ring of Saturn, to inevitably bring back the Lord of the Rings, known as Jupiter or Jove. That will be the return of the king who will rise within Saturn as Saturn crowns the sire of Jupiter with its rings of power.
It is the eye of Re that will be awakened to exhume the universal breath. What we do, the solar system does, the galaxy does, the universe does. When breathing, during the in-breath of the cycle, there is a buildup of carbon dioxide, which is why there has been an ever-escalating buildup of carbon dioxide happening in the Earth construct. The governmental and elite agents of this matrix world are obviously very aware of this cycle in its larger context, which has formulated the basis for the carbon dioxide created global warming/climate change agenda that has everything to do with the buildup of the solar system in-breath that also takes in more carbon dioxide. It is not hard to see, if one can expand their mind to the fact that these processes, such as breathing, are not strictly relegated to what is known as life on Earth. This is the kind of information that they definitely do not want you to know, because it opens up gateways to the awareness of how major cycles operate within smaller cycles. This is why the phoenix will rise after 500 years, because 500 is representing half of the cycle, whereas 1000 is the full breath as depicted in the biblical book of Revelation.
What we do, the solar system does, the galaxy does, the universe does, and the multiverse does. And cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. Revelation 23. After the full breath cycle, metaphorical 1,000 years, has been completed itself, the phoenix will rise, or raise the breath back upwards, because the pH level has reached 1. Hence, phonix is an anagram for pH 1 at 1x numeral 9 and pH 1x 11, with 9 being the Roman numeral to 9 representing pH level 9 to quickly turn the breath back around. 11 is the Roman numeral for 11, being the twin towers of 2 points of the breath cycle and the higher pH of 11. Now you have the true basis behind the hidden symbolism of 9/11.
At the end of each breath is a small pause, which is the little season that the phoenix is loosed to send the breath in the opposite direction, while also cleansing through fire and the high pH levels of 9 and 11, all of the carbon dioxide waste that was built up and accumulated during the in-breath phase. The X in phone X and anagram of X and I are the Roman numerals for 9 and 11, because 9 and 11 also represent high levels of alkalinity. After this process completes itself, the phoenix dragon will be locked up for another 1,000 years, full cycle, because the breath literally needs to go through the full rotation of the ages again before reaching the bottom of the acidic in-breath. The out-breath small pause has a separate phoenix to contend with, because that portion of the cycle has to do with too much alkalinity. The other phoenix would probably be called the phenio, seeing that I is the Roman numeral for 1 and O is obviously 0, which represents the opposite spectrum of acidity to turn the breathing cycle back inwards. Again, this is all about battery polarity, which is why there are alkaline batteries and lead-acid batteries. The controllers of this world are on an agenda to make everything more acidic to eventually reach the bottom of the in-breath, which is a pH of 1. They are doing this by creating more industry and toxic pollution, such as the Fukushima disaster in Japan, the Gulf of Mexico oil spill, and the chemtrail spraying occurring daily in the sky. These are just a few examples among the countless number that are happening on a daily basis. Heavy traffic and the burning of fossil fuels is a mandated necessity in this metonymy structure to ensure that we can see and know that there is evidence for why everything is becoming more acidic. If we did not see the reasons for these changes taking place, would we believe in the reasons for why they are occurring? The occurring events that come from the Ocu rings of Saturn. There are massive fish and animal die-offs for this reason, because even in a matrix computer structure, life forms are accustomed to a certain pH level for their own survival, and this is rapidly changing due to the carbon dioxide and acidification buildup in the environment on both land and sea. It is becoming harder to grow food because the pH levels in the soil are becoming more acidic, and soon it will become impossible, which will lead to mass levels of starvation, creating anarchy and havoc around the world. This is the basis for the UN Agenda 21 and the inevitable Hunger Games society that is around the corner for humanity, because this is a cycle that is not going to stop, as certainly as you will not intentionally stop your next breath. Things are going to get really bad right up to the point of the Earth reaching a pH of 1, which is when a pH 1 phone call is going to be made to the Phoenix to lay the breath to waste and hit the federal re-serve button to send the breath back in reverse. The anagram for serve is verse. This phone pH 1 Phoenix call is being depicted by corporations' corpse orations to a world full of people who have no clue about any of this. A pH 1 call from the Lord of the phone rings. Even individually, when the body reaches its pH level of 1, this is where after death we receive our personal wake-up call from Saturn after our long sleep of life. The Phoenix is the Eye of Horus, as depicted by the X in Phoenix, because I and X is the Roman numeral for 9, and the symbol for the Eye of Horus is a 9. The small letter G is typically written as a similar 9, and the Freemasonic G stands for the left sun, as shown by the Greek, Turkish, and Korean G, translating into English as Sol and left. Many other languages also translate G into Sol, such as the French, Hebrew, Swedish, Spanish, Croatian, and Bosnian tongues. This Eye of Horus is the capstone that will be placed upon the pyramid, since it is the neutral pH of 7. The all-seeing eye of the Freemasonic Illuminati is the return of the king, or the Prince of Peace, that will cap the breath. And an anagram for the word cap is pax, which is the Latin prefix term for peace, related to the term pax. It is the Phoenix red sun that will provide peace by cleansing the earth of all the acidic waste that is built up, as shown by the Korean word sol, that translates into English as sol, brush, pine, scrubber, G, archery target, and skin pustules. All of these translations make perfect sense when there is a heightened understanding of these matrix cycles that occur. The Sol, sun, known as G, is going to give the pineal gland a scrubbing with a brush, which means a close flyby. What does that have to do with Sol, the sun? The letter G is used to indicate Sol in many languages, as was just shown, while another synonym for G in Turkish is bin, translated as G and 1,000. The monetary expression of having 1,000 Gs is displayed here, yet what is also indicated is the left sun, phone X, phone 9, of the 1,000 years. The 1,000 is the full universal expression of the in-breath and out-breath of the Platonic year, whereupon the left sun, or the Latin term oculus sinistro, meaning the left eye, makes its appearance known to mankind again. This is most likely one of the main reasons why everything that is left is presented as evil and wrong, as shown by the Old English word lift, meaning weak, worthless, and the Latin sinistra, meaning left, wrong, adverse, unfavorable. This is the red dragon of China and hidden eye of the occult, since occult comes from the Latin